What's going on, you guys? EB Crypto, Family Cash Machine, Follow the Money. Hope you guys having a great weekend wherever you're at. We're in the, I think this is the second week of November. It's November the 18th today. Saturday, I'm doing this video and I'm talking to you guys about financial things that are relevant and current today, and it has a lot to do with geopolitics and stuff you guys hear on the news, different things you hear. When you follow the money, you find out it's a different story than what they're actually telling you. Now, you guys know where I'm from. I'm from Compton, dumb city where I'm from. And I'm here by way of sunny Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. But right now, it's not so sunny. It's raining. And one of the things about this country, it will rain for 10, 15 minutes, and they'll get 6, 10 inches of rain within 15 minutes. And then it'll clear up and, be sunny and stuff like that, which adds to the humidity of this climate. I had to get used to this humidity coming from California. A lot of guys here are from Miami or from, Mississippi, different states down south. They're used to the humidity. It took me quite a while to get used to the humidity. So I'm getting used to it now. And whenever I go back to California, I'm cold. I'm freaking cold. But anyway, let's get into the subject today. I want to talk about Israel a little bit. I want to talk about what's going on with Hamas. I want to talk about a little bit the undergirding aspect of things that they're not talking about in the media. Now, of course, there's been tensions for years with Israel and the Palestinian people. And if you really study the history of Hamas was actually started by Israel. Just like Saddam Hussein was funded and financed by the United States and ended up being the United States enemy. That's a long story. But Hamas was financed by Israel years ago to circumvent a gentleman by the name of Yasser Arafat. You guys can go research that history for yourself. So now the situation where Hamas has bombed Israel is engulfing the entire world to get engaged in this, because Israel represents the United States, France, Italy, Germany, all these different countries, Canada, support, mainly the Western countries. They support Israel. And China, Russia, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, all of these countries are standing up now for the Palestinian people. Now, there's a huge massacre going on. I think it's up to 11, 12,000 people dead. And that's all that we know. There's still thousands missing from the bombing of Israel to the Palestinian. And it's creating a global, pretty much a global resistance. People are really not liking the massacring that's going on. Now, I get it. They got attacked by Hamas, and there were several hundred people killed. And I get that Israel had to retaliate and protect their land. Anybody has to protect their land. I get that. But at the end of the day, when you really understand the diabolical things that's going on, Israel has a plan to exterminate the Gaza Strip. And this has been a plan for a while, because there's a canal that goes through Israel and Egypt and the whole what they call Middle East, which really is the beginning and origins of that name Middle East, because it's really Northwest Africa. Don't get it twisted. It's still Africa. It's a part of Africa, okay? But when they created this man-made canal called the Suez Canal, this is a man-made canal that they use to differentiate and separate this landmass from Africa. But this particular canal is controlled and owned by the Palestinian people. So they capitalize and monetize off of all the goods that's coming in or going out of Africa. Although we have the Chinese, we have France, we have Britain, we have Belgium, all of these different European countries that have been sucking the minerals out of Africa. When they come through that Suez Canal, they got to pay the Palestinian who control that. The Palestinian people who control that one transporting canal to the main ocean. Well, guess what? Now Israel and United States and France and Belgium, they're working on their own canal. But the problem is the canal that they're working on, the landmass is mainly rocky, very rocky. So it's harder to cut through. And the landmass where the Suez Canal is a lot of sand there. So they had this plan years ago to do a huge massacre and bombing of that particular soil, because coincidentally, this canal that they're creating is going to end at the Gaza Strip, right into the ocean. So the Gaza Strip is very vital for them to vacate so they could basically create this canal. They already started building this canal, but it's like halfway done and they still need to cut through a lot of rock. So their plan is to bomb and bomb and bomb the people there to soften up this rocky terrain to be able to continue to construct this canal. This canal will have not one lane like the Suez Canal, but it will basically have it'll allow two ships to pass, coming in and going, or two ships coming in, or two lanes, like I said, coming and going, into Africa, not the Middle East, but Africa, where they can transport oil, diamonds, cobalt, coltan, rubber, whatever minerals there are in Africa. The Belgium, the French, the United States, Britain, and of course Israel wants to control that transport. So they can control the distribution, the exporting of goods and minerals, which Africa got all the minerals, uranium, you name it. That's all in Africa. And they'll have access now, gold, to control that transit or transportation of minerals. This is what this is about. This is not about nothing else. So they want to pretty much genocide or create a genocidal type of environment to eliminate millions of people in the Gaza Strip, millions of Palestinians, so they can therefore take control of the import and export routes of the minerals of Africa. That's what this is all about. This is all about money. It has nothing to do with the people. It's not a religious war. They want to make it seem like it's a religious war. It's a money and a control and a power thing. And that's what it's always been with these colonialist settlement countries. These countries come and settle in other people's countries and other individuals' countries, and they basically occupy, and then they suck the minerals out. So that's what they're doing right now. This is what this whole Israel thing is about. They're creating a new canal, and the Suez Canal has been there for years, almost 100 years or more. So that Suez Canal is, again, controlled by the people of that land, Palestinian people, Arab people, Palestinian people. They control the export and imports coming into Africa right there, okay? Coming into those parts of Africa. So, like I said, Israel wants to control that. Of course, America is backing them up. Of course, Europe, France, Belgium, all these countries, Italy, Germany, they're all trying to control the route to extract minerals out of Africa. And they have to exterminate millions of people in order to pull this off. So they have to create a situation. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole Hamas thing was staged. We don't really know if that was really Hamas people. Just like the guy they say that killed Biggie Smalls had on a bow tie. And he was a Muslim. So you're supposed to believe that the Nation of Islam killed Biggie Smalls because the guy who pulled the trigger wore a bow tie that day? See, this is all co-op stuff. So they had some guys parachute down And if you know anything about the Gaza Strip and how secure that is, how many cameras they got, satellites, lasers, all kind of stuff there to protect Israel from being invaded from that route. And for some reason that day, for 8 hours, their defense system didn't work. For some reason, for 8 hours, their Iron Curtain, whatever the rocket thing they got to intercept, didn't work. And rockets were being blasted from Hamas, thousands of rockets, unintercepted, into Jerusalem and Israel. And for some reason, this sophisticated system that once it came on, pretty much knocked down 99% of the rockets once it came on. But for 8 hours, coincidentally, when this attack happened, the system didn't work. Interesting. So we got to start figuring out and understanding what's really going on in this world. What's really going on in this world? What's going on is affecting us economically. It's affecting us economically. Everything that these politicians are deciding on, it's negatively affecting us. And it's interesting how they're taking more minerals from countries. They're taking more oil from countries, but oil is steady going up. I don't get it. How is oil continuously going up when you're actually, basically looting other countries' oil? What happened to Saddam Hussein's oil when we invaded it? See, we got to ask these questions. Why is oil going up? Okay? So it's just not making sense how you're taking over more oil reserves, conquering more oil-rich countries, but oil steady going up. It's not making sense. So again, everything is all about money. Follow the money. This is really not about Hamas. This is really not about Israel. This is about controlling the minerals going in and out of Africa, controlling the routes of minerals that's being extracted from Africa. Okay? Now China has a big pot, or a lot of ownership of mines, cobalt mines, uranium mines, gold mines. China is playing ball on a major scale. They own a lot of the mineral rights in Africa. So now they're going to be taxed if they use Israel's and America's route, that new canal that they're trying to build. And so they'll be able to tax everything, control everything. Okay? This is what this is about. This is all about this new canal that's being built. You don't hear nobody in the media talking about it. No media channels, major networks is talking about it. How is this guy from Compton more enlightened about what's going on in Israel? Hell, I've never been to Israel. How am I more enlightened about this situation than the news media, who owns billions of dollars, who send reporters all over the world, who accommodate these reporters, give them hotel accommodations, airplane flights? How is it that I'm reporting news that they're not reporting? I don't know more than they do. These media outlets are all owned by some of the same people. When you really check the media, there's basically 6 companies that own all the radio stations, that owns all the networks, that own all the TV channels. 6. That's it. So that is a controlled industry. And that's why the news channels, they all cover the same stories. And not only do they cover the same stories, they all cover them in the same interpretation of that story. Meaning, if I see something happen and 10 other people see something happen, even though we saw the same thing, we probably will all explain it differently. And each one would see something that the other one might not have caught. So how is it that every news channel can cover every story the same way, with the same outlook, the same interpretation? Isn't that kind of interesting? Have you ever thought about that? So this is what's happening. The news is being pretty much controlled and censored. And the CIA, the Israeli Mossad, the MI6, all these different agencies of secret agencies around the world have a huge influence in the medias, and has a huge influence in what they say, how they say it, because these are the watchdogs for those that control the world. So we have to do our own due diligence. We have to do our own research today to really put our finger on what the hell's going on in this world. Because there's so many things going on that's affecting our everyday life. And the dollar is going down and down and down. Every currency in the world is crashing, crashing, crashing. It's costing us more and more and more every year, every month, every week, just to survive. And so they keep us so busy, being busy, you don't have time to even ask these questions. This is why I always dedicated myself to bringing this stuff to light, making people understand more what's happening in the world based on the facts and based on the money. That's the motive for everything, more so than what they're telling us in the news. So again, go do your own research on this new canal that they're trying to build. They're already constructing it. They're having problems because it's more of a rocky terrain, more so than what the Suez Canal is. So it's really hard to cut through this. So they need to bomb the hell out of it. And while they're bombing, they need to extinguish a bunch of people that's in the way of this canal. See, you got to remember this. Real estate has always been one of the most bloodiest businesses in the world. Real estate. Because it's the only product that God is not making no more of. So wherever you see huge real estate projects, when you see huge redevelopments and what they call the gentrifications, there's usually a very bloody business. A lot of people get killed that don't want to sell their leases or don't want to do the eminent domain. A lot of people mysteriously die. Just do your research on that. Real estate has always been a very bloody business. This is how they got control of America. That's how they got control of South America. All these different countries where colonial countries went. They murdered, they pillaged, and they massacred to get control of these different geographical locations. China, Britain ran that for so many years. Britain ran India for so many years. Spain was really a monster, and everywhere they had gold in the world, Spain went. Everywhere there was gold, there was speculated to be, or there was saw the natives with gold. Check the countries that speak Spanish, and every country that speaks Spanish is where gold is. Check that out, because they were just so enamored with gold, they went and colonized and conquered every country where they heard there was gold of the natives. So all of this stuff, again, like I said, follow the money. It's all about the money. And this is why I like cryptocurrency, because it's a way to hide your money. It's a way to disguise your money. It's a way that you can own something of value and governments not know, banks not know, different agencies don't know. I'm not going to go into the name of these agencies. You figure it out. This is a way that you can be your own bank and you can possess your own value, and nobody can disrupt it. No law enforcement, nobody. That is a powerful, powerful, powerful asset in this day and age, when they control every transaction, they watch every transaction, they control the value of all the currencies, and every currency, coincidentally, is crashing simultaneously. So this is an asset, cryptocurrency, that really can't be controlled. Well, right now, they're trying to control Bitcoin and Ethereum by putting it in an ETF, electronic trading fund, and allowing big brokers and huge banks and contracts and futures and all that different stuff to be practiced on those two cryptocurrencies, which will make it more like gold. What do I mean by that? Gold is highly manipulated. We don't even know the real price of gold right now. We just don't. And the reason is because gold right now, and I'm going to try to explain it to you the best way I can, because I'm a guy from the hood. I'm the guy that grew up in Compton. I'm the guy that grew up in the inner cities, was born in Chicago, raised in Compton. I'm a guy who understands these financial terminologies, and I can bring it down to layman's level. So I'm going to do my best here with gold. Gold is highly, highly manipulated through contracts and futures. Anybody that understands options and futures, you'll understand how that was created for crops, basically. And it was created it was a financial instrument created for crops. So therefore, if there's a shortage, you can buy crops today or for future value. You can purchase today, but this purchase is for future purchase. So that's why it's called futures. And you can buy products today. Exactly. Today you can buy products and have it for the future. So that's basically what it is. It's to control the value. So if there is a shortage in the future, you got the value locked in today. So that's what that is. And these can be traded. These contracts can be traded. So that's how people make their money, on the different variations of value, of fluctuation. But it's designed to keep the price in check. That's what it's designed for. So when they started putting gold, okay, into futures and options, basically it straddles the value. It keeps the value at a certain point by the value of the US dollar suppressing the value of that particular commodity or asset by the power of the dollar, the value of the dollar, and the building up of certain contracts, value of contract, suppressing the value of that object to where you don't really know the value of that object. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Gold right now, at the time of this video, let's say I'm just using an example. Let's say it's $1,800 or $1,900 an ounce. Okay, well, when you do the derivatives and look at all of the different contracts of gold, there could be $60,000 to $70,000 per ounce in contracts of gold. So the money that's in contracts, there's more money in contracts than the availability of gold today. So what I'm saying is, for every ounce of gold that might cost you $1,800, that price is only $1,800 because there's over $60,000 per ounce in contracts, pushing down with pressure the value of gold. So therefore, let's say the US dollar ends up hyperinflating and becoming worth nothing. The price of gold will explode, because now that 60,000, and in 5 years it's going to go up, and $60,000 dollars is not worth 10,000. You see what I'm saying? When that $60,000 is not worth 5,000 anymore, the price of gold is going to it's going to break through the suppression of these contracts. That's the best example I can give to you. There's over $60,000 per ounce in gold in contracts, which is working against the value. It's not allowing the true market value to flourish because it's being suppressed by all these contracts that people purchase for trading. It's the best way I can explain it. I hope you can visualize that. But again, when the US dollar is worth nothing, if we go into hyperinflation and the dollar crashes, and people say, well, that can never happen. Okay, go look at the videos on Zimbabwe. Go look at the videos on like World War II in Germany, or even World War I. Go look at the videos on Venezuela. You can go YouTube this, and you'll understand inflation more. And I think right now they just passed another $920 billion, some type of stimulus some different programs they're going to be giving to people, which is basically just mean they're going to print more money and put more money into circulation. And the more money they keep printing, the less the dollar value will have. There's already over $7 trillion they printed for the first stimulus, as well as the quote-unquote pandemic, over $7 trillion. Now we at $33 trillion in deficit. How are we going to get out of that? Print more money. So as you print more money, you constantly devalue the dollar. Wow. So that's how it works. That's just the most simplest way to explain this to my people. It works just that same way. It's just supply and demand. The more of a product that you have, the less the value of that product. The less of that product you have, the more of that product value it is per unit. So because the US dollar now, there's more US dollars in circulation than ever in the history of the US dollar. And it's not backed by anything but the government's promise. But what's happening now is we're having inflation problems, 9% a year. So in 5 years, you're telling me you're going to lose 50% of your purchasing power. That's pretty much what's happening. In 5 years, you're going to lose 50%. And it's happening every day. It's not going to happen all at once. Every year you're losing 9 point something percent based on inflation. Inflation, it's just really kind of backwards. I want to give it to you guys the way it really is. Inflation means some people say, oh, the value of things are going up, but that's not really what's happening. The value of the dollar is going down. That's the real truth. The value of the dollar is going down because they just printing and printing and printing. So it's inflation should be called deflation because it's an actual deflation of the US dollar. It's the deflation of your purchasing power. And I wanted to make that clear on this call, on this video, because I want to give you guys something to think about. If all this stuff is happening in the world, and oil is going to keep going up because that conflict there. They don't have the canal built yet. They still got the Suez Canal, which only one ship can get through at one time. Now you got all these countries that pump oil, that produce oil, all industrial countries in war. And war costs money. It's not like they said war makes money. Yeah, war makes money for banks or certain corporations that make war equipment. But for the masses of the people in most countries, they go into debt during war. Okay? So now we head into war in the Middle East. That's going to affect shipping of oil. That's going to affect the production of oil. Some oil is going to be blowed up. There's going to be some oil they won't be able to work because of war and bullets and stuff flying everywhere. Just think about it. Oil prices are getting ready to go super ballistic, which again negatively affects us. Okay? Because we need oil every day. But let me say this. We have a situation where inflation is out of control. So the central bank or the Federal Reserve, their remedy when inflation goes out of control is go up on interest rates. Okay? So when they go up on interest rates, it somehow brings down inflation, but it's just not working. They printed so much money. This is why this last year, 2023, there was more inflation. There was more interest hikes in 1 year than ever before. And the reason is they're trying to control this inflation, and they can't control it. It's just not. It's too late, too little, not enough. So we still having this huge inflation problem now with them printing more money, with wars being talked about, and with us sending U.S. troops all over the world, we have to spend more money. How are we going to get that money? We're going to print more. So we have some huge challenges facing the masses of the people. So I suggest that you do something in your life. You have to create more income, but you can't work more hours. If you're already working 8 hours, 12 hours a day, your wife working 8 hours, 12 hours a day, you got 2 jobs. Your wife might have 2 jobs. Some people got 3 jobs. You can't keep working like that. That's just, at some point, something's going to give. You're going to go have a nervous breakdown. You're going to have a stroke or something. So you have to work smarter. So what I'm doing is teaching individuals the 90 to 120 days skill set challenge, teaching you how to trade different commodities, how to buy and sell different commodities that are relevant to what's going on today. Buy oil, learn how to buy stocks, learn how to trade Forex, because all the different foreign currencies are going crazy right now. And a lot of them are crashing, but as a trader, you don't care. You don't care if it's going up or down. You can position yourself to make money when the market go down, or when the market go up, when the currency go down, or when the currency go up. It doesn't matter for you once you learn this skill set. This is probably the best skill set in this day and age to learn, is how to trade. And there's so many different things you can trade. You can trade stocks, you can trade currencies, you can trade gold, you can trade silver, you can trade oil, you can trade everything on this planet is tradable. Everything, orange juice, coffee, all of this different stuff, you can capitalize off of everything happening in the world. Anything happens, good or bad, you have the knowledge how to make money on it. That's pretty much what they don't tell you about trading. They just tell you, oh, it's risky. Oh, it's risky. That's all it's risky. But there's a skill set. There's a risk management, a way to manage your risk, where you're only going to lose so much because you control that. But when you make big wins, you're not going to stop your wins. So when you win, there's no limit. But when you lose, you can control that. So if you use that formula, even if you're only at a 40% trading successful rate, if you're minimizing your losses and maximizing your wins, even at a 30% or a 40% success rate, money-wise, you'll be way ahead of the game. And this is what real traders are doing. This is what we're teaching you guys how to do. How to take all these different events that we're talking about, stuff that's happening in the world, and put yourself in a position, understanding how it's going to affect the markets, because the markets respond to whatever happens in the world. And this is how we're going to make a killing. This is how we're going to thrive. And this is how we're going to work smarter and less hours and make more money to keep up with this inflation that's out of control right now. Because again, remember what I said. In 5 years, you'll lose 50% of the value of your purchasing power. And I doubt if most people are going to be able to double. That means you got to double what you're making right now to be able to live the same way you're living right now. That's not good enough for me. In fact, that's some terrible statistics. Is you mean to tell me I got to do twice the work, twice the energy, twice the hours in 5 years just to maintain what I got right now? No, that's not the way to look at it. Learn how to make income. Learn how to ride the wave on whatever happening, good or bad. Learn how to capitalize and monetize on anything that happens in the world, good or bad. And that's how the wealthy get wealthy. That's how people become rich overnight, through understanding these financial markets and understanding how to connect current events, understanding how to connect global events, geopolitics into a profitable daily return. So you guys, if you want to join, sign up with this challenge, learn this challenge. I recommend that you learn this challenge and this skill set. Join this challenge of money. This is about money. This is not just about money. It's about making money. How do you make passive income every day? Work 2 days a week and you're making more money than you are on a job. Now you got time for your family. Now you got time to do things you want to do and the money and resources to do what you want to do. Trading is the best position you can be in. It's a skill set that'll pay you for the rest of your life. Once you learn that skill set, nobody can take that from you. You can always dip in the market and make money anytime, any day that you please. That's the position that we need to be in. And if you don't learn this, I don't know what we're going to do to make more money. I don't know what better way to make money I don't know what better way to make money other than the things that's happening in the world. And there's so much happening in the world. This is the best time to learn how to trade because there's so many things that reverberate around the world. So many events that are reverberating, have reverberating effects on global economics, which is good for us as traders. And we'll be in a circle of traders who are already trading. You guys are going to be around people who are already profiting every day. You're going to be around people who already know the moves, who already know how things are affected, who've already made money on, the bombing of Israel. They might have made $50,000 that day because they know how to position themselves. You're going to be around these individuals. They're going to be holding your hand, showing you as you're learning. And maybe we can even invest small amounts to practice with them. And they're giving us signals every day to learn how to not just learn, but earn at the same time you're learning. So this is what we're about with this challenge. Within 3 to 4 months, I want you guys to be trading at a 9, 10, 12% a month, which is very, very, very conservative. That's no money. There's people making that in a day. But just coming into this after 3 or 4 months and being able to trade at a 12% is staggering. Staggering. That can compound into a lot of money real fast. So with that, I'm going to sign out, you guys. Join up with me with this 90 to 120 day skill set challenge. And I challenge you guys to learn about money, follow the money, because everything in this world is about money. Trust me. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.